Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is super special and super exciting to me. These are my Little Miss Bonnie dolls. That's what I decided to name mine. You guys can name yours whatever you want to, it doesn't matter. But are they not the cutest things ever? I am so proud of myself, and I think you can hear it in my voice, for how these dolls turned out, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it has taken me 2 weeks of designing, working my design, failing, ripping it out, redoing it, to finally get the doll of the body to where I liked it just right. And then another week of designing, messing up, ripping out, redoing the dress. The bonnet was easy. The bonnet, I did pretty good on that the first time. So it's taken me 3 weeks of designing plus another week of filming to get this doll and the doll dress. Because we make the body, the shoes, everything. Just go ahead and show you. Oop, I bumped her head. So yeah, we make the body. We make the arms, the feet, all of it we're going to crochet, okay? The only thing that we're not crocheting are her hands and her head. Okay, so let's just go straight into what you're going to need, okay? So in the description box, I'm going to have a link for you. And that's where you're going to get your head and hand sets. It's one purchase. They come together. The link is it'll be the very first link in the description box, okay? And so you can get that and get it as soon as you can, because yeah, you're gonna need one of these in your life. All right, you can see up your dress. Okay, so after that, after you get your head and your hand set, you are gonna need a 4mm crochet hook and a 5mm. The 5mm, the only time we use that is there's a part at the back of the bonnet where we slip stitch, and I suggest going up a hook size just because it keeps those slip stitches from getting a little too tight. Other than that, that's the only time we use that 5mm crochet hook. Okay, so let's talk about your yarn. So for this one, she has white as her main color, and all Red Heart Super Saver. White as her main color, and then light or pale plum as the purple. And then this one has the royal blue and as the main color, and then the variegated is Red Heart Super Saver Wildflower. And I got all 4 of those at Walmart. So you're gonna need 1 skein each. And that's for the dress, the bonnet, the headband, and then the panties. Now she has her panties on, but these are what the panties are going to look like. And that's just underneath her dress. So that's for her clothing. For the body, you can use any 4-weight yarn you want. I just honestly used what I had next to me, and that was Red Heart Super Saver Buff. It's not the perfect body color, but like I said, it's what I had next to me, and I just made it out of scraps. So you're going to need 1 skein for the color of the body that you choose. You can use white, you can use whatever color you want to, it doesn't matter. And then for the shoes, now this one you can see I used black, but in the tutorial, this one is, oh no, I'm dropping everything. This one is Red Heart Super Saver Coffee. So, if you do want to use use black for the shoes, I suggest to get a headlamp. And if you don't know what a headlamp is, it's just a little flashlight that's on a elastic band that goes around your head. And those things get super, super bright. And sitting in a dark room with, that super bright flashlight on your head, I can work with black that way. If you can't, I completely understand. Use whatever color you want to for the shoes, okay? But like I said, I just use brown. So there's that, and then you're gonna need some polyfill. That's what we're gonna stuff our body with, and I just have a Ziploc baggie. So I have to tell you guys a story. I last year or the year before, I don't remember what year, I made this big old floor poof and a matching pillow to go on your back, and I had bought, I don't remember how much the bag weighed. It was like the biggest bag of polyfill you can buy. And I stuffed that floor poof with it, and then I needed more, so I got more. Well, then I decided I don't need that floor poof anymore, so I pulled that entire thing out, and now I have this big trash bag in my closet full of polyfill. So I just go in there with my little gallon Ziploc baggie and fill up my Ziploc bag every time I need polyfill. So that's why I just have a Ziploc bag of polyfill. But all right, so you're gonna need just get you one of those small bags of polyfill from Walmart or any craft store. Let's see what else. Okay, so there's one part I do want to talk about, and that is the hands. So the hands, and I explain in the video about the deal with the hands. I was expecting something else when I ordered them, and they came and it was not what I was expecting it. So the hands are, I'm a little concerned if you are going to be giving your doll to a child, only because they could potentially pop those hands out if they wanted to. I mean, they're going to have to jerk and jerk and jerk on those hands to pop them out. So I highly recommend that if you're going to give your doll to a child, to glue the hands in as well as tie them in like we're going to. And I totally suggest using E6000 glue. Now I get this from Walmart, and it's an industrial strength glue. Let it dry overnight, and I'm telling you, those kids are never going to pop those hands out of there. They're never going to move. All right, so another thing that you're going to need is some way, however you decide to, either buttons, hook and eye closures, or just using a strand of yarn to close the back of the dress. I was actually going to use buttons, but I don't have buttons small enough to go through the stitches of the dress, so I ended up getting these Dritz sew-on snaps. They just, well, if I can get them off, there. It just pops off. See, there's the back. So there's the back, and here's the front. Focus on my hands, and then they just snap together. I sewed 3 of those on the back of my dress with needle and thread, and make sure you use a thread that matches your dress. You don't, like I said, you don't have to do that. You can do however you want to. Just if you're going to sew buttons on, make sure the buttons will fit between the spaces of your stitches, and make sure you have a thread that matches your dress. And then if you're just going to use a strand of thread or a strand of yarn, just, you know, make it long enough. You'll get it. Okay, let me just take a second. Is there anything else that I need to talk about? No, that is everything. So get your head and your hands ordered. I did email the company and ask them how many they had in stock, because I didn't want to do this tutorial and them not have, then, you know, and them only have like 20 headsets in stock. So I emailed them, and they have plenty in stock. So I would get them as soon as you can. And let me just go over this real quick. You're going to need a way to close the back of the dress, a skein of yarn for the main color of the dress, a skein of yarn for the secondary color for your dress, a 4mm hook, a 5mm hook, just because we don't want to get those slip stitches on the back of the bonnet too tight. Go ahead and grab you a tape measure. You're going to need a little bit of a tape measure. And then get you some bag of polyfill and oh, and glue if you were going to glue those hands in, okay? Other than that, I am pretty sure we've got it all. So let's get our supplies together and get started on these cuties. I'm so happy. All right, guys, let's get started. So of course, I already forgot to mention, part 2, we are going to be making the dress only, and then part 3, we are going to make the bonnet, the headband, and then the little panties, okay? And all of the links are, the link for part 2 and part 3 are going to be in the description box too, all right? Okay, so now let's get started. Okay, real quick, I forgot to mention, when she is fully made, she measures 15.5 inches. Now that's my tension. Someone else's tension she may be a tad bit shorter or a tad bit taller, okay? All right, I promise you guys, now we can get started. Alrighty, let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the arms. And the reason we're going to start with the arms is so that we can single crochet it into the body as we go. So arms are going to be first, and then we might go ahead and just make the legs while we're at it. But let's just start with these arms for now. So what I'm going to do is get a slip knot on my hook. And I want to have a longer tail. I'm going to do about 1 foot of a tail. Get the slip knot on my hook. And we are going to start with a chain of 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Now what I want you to do is hold your chain by where your hook is and take your hand and run it down your chain. Make sure it's not twisted. And then bring that tail and point it at your hook, just like that. I get the yarn on my hand. Point your very first chain towards your hook, and we're going to go right in there and slip stitch and chain 1. And we're going to go right back into that chain with a single crochet. We're going to stop, mark that chain, mark that single crochet, because throughout this pattern, unless I say otherwise, I mean ending a row, but at no time are we going to slip stitch to join our rounds. We are going to work in continuous rounds, so the stitch marker is going to indicate the first stitch of the round for me. If you guys prefer to use it for the last stitch of the round, it's whatever, as long as you're keeping track. All right, so this is what we have so far. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this out just like that, and bring that tail to the outside of my little ring right there. And now what we're going to do is work a single crochet into each of the remaining chains all the way around until we get back to the stitch marker. So I'm going to go ahead and start single crocheting into each of my chains. Making sure I'm not twisting it. Just about there. Oop. The reason I want to stay with you guys with this is because at the end it can get a little confusing. Okay, so now to look at this, it looks like I have one more one more chain to work into, right? But that's actually the slip stitch right here. This is actually the slip stitch. There's the chain 1, and then there's the first single crochet. So if you're ever in doubt, stop and count. So I'm gonna go ahead and count mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and there's 19. All right, so that is the end of round 1. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull that slip knot a little bit, tighten it up. And now we're gonna move on to round 2, and we're just gonna jump right across to that first single crochet. I'm gonna give my stitch marker, my stitch marker a tug so I can see the, the first single. Jump right across there. Single crochet into that first single, and that is the first single of round 2. And all we're gonna do is work a single crochet into each single all the way around. And that is what we are going to do for round 2, which we're on right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to round 14. Just gonna single crochet into each single all the way around for round after round 2 for 12 more rounds. So we will have a total of 14 rounds. All right, so that's round 2. Dang it, I messed that up. All right, so there's the last one for round 2. So for round 3, remove my stitch marker, single crochet in that first single, put my stitch marker back, and single crochet all the way around. And that's what you're going to do to finish this round right here, which is round 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pause my video, or pause my camera, and I'm going to get mine done off camera. So you guys go ahead and get yours done and come back when you have the 14th round done, all right? So I will be right back. All right, I am back. I've done my 14 rounds. So now I'm going to remove that stitch marker, and I'm going to slip stitch to that very first single, chain 1, pull up a loop. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I about got ahead of myself. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and then what we are going to do is we are going to fold our piece so that that slip stitch is to the side right there, right like that. All right, now what we're going to do is back loop, single crochet through through each side of the singles. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied. We're going to back loop, single crochet through both sides. We're going to single crochet this top shut. So what we're going to do is, so with that folded, I want the slip stitch, the single crochet that slip stitch is in right there, that's going to be in the fold. The single crochet that we worked right there is what I'm going to back loop into this one, and then catch the back loop of this one and single. Next, and next, next, and next. Now this doesn't have to be exact. I already have my first arm done, and I came up with 9 single crochet across. It's not a huge deal if you're not right, or like if one has 8 or one. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can get 8. And then the last one, I'm just going to shove my hook in there where I can get it. And there's 9. Chain 1 and pull up a loop. Cut, and we will weave in that in later. But first, we are going to get in there and give these stitches a tug and loosen them up. Just like that. All right, we are going to stuff our arm now. Now I want to make sure you guys know we don't want to overstuff our arm. Let me show you on my first doll I made. We don't want to overstuff her arm. See how it stays nice and floppy? If we overstuffed it, her arm would constantly stay out like that. And that's not what we want. We want it to be able to move up and down. So, we're going to stuff just a little. And it might help if you kind of keep these last few stitches, kind of just pinch it with your hand so you don't get stuffing into it. And the nice thing is, if you get too much, see how I'm pulling it on that and the stuffing's coming out the top? If you do accidentally overstuff, you can do that and that stuffing will go inside your hand. So I'm actually going to leave mine like this. Just like that. And now I want to explain to you guys something about these hands. So whenever I found this head and hand set, most of the hands that I've always worked with have a ridge. Well, it's just so it'll have a ridge just like this head. See the little ridge right there? And what you can do is you know, weave your tail in and out to like a drawstring and then pull it as tight as you can into this ridge, knot it off, you know, weave your tail in and out of that ridge and pull it tight, and it's not coming out, that's actually what we're going to be doing with this head. But what I'm trying to say is that these, usually the hands I work with have that ridge. Well, I didn't realize when I picked these hands out that these don't have the ridge. So here's the thing. If you want to glue, actually, if you're going to give this doll to a child, I highly recommend to glue the hand as well as what we're getting ready to do. Because what I have done is just weave the tail in and out around the beginning chain, pull it as tight as I can, tie it in a knot, do it again, pull it as tight as I can, tie it in another knot, and then hide the tail inside. And then, like, I can pull and it's not coming out. But if you're going to give this doll to a child, eventually, somehow, one way or another, they're going to pop the hand out of that. So if I were you, and you were giving this to a child and you want to, I suggest getting a pack of E6000. This is industrial strength permanent glue. It will not come out. So you can see it right there. Industrial strength adhesive. And I suggest getting you some of that. And not right now, but after we get this tail weaved around and we get it nice and tied off, then, you know, pull it back just a little and add some glue around in there to keep it nice and secure. Like I said, with mine, it's not a huge deal because mine's not going to a kid. I'm keeping mine. I'm going to take some of that stuffing out. I don't want to accidentally overstuff. But anyway, so if you prefer to do that, then by all means add the glue. If you're not going to do that, go ahead and with that long tail, get that threaded on your needle. And what we're going to do is we're going to weave it in and out of the chains from round one. Or, I mean, the beginning chain. And I'm just weaving it in and out. But like I said, my first arm that I made, not on my first doll, but for this tutorial, the first arm, I've gotten that pretty tight around that hand. But like I said, kids are amazing with the things that they can do. And one way or another, they will figure out how to pop that hand off or, you know, finagle with it enough that it will come out of there. Alright, so now I'm just going to pull this tight. Be careful, don't snap your yarn. I've done that. All right. I want that to be to the underside. Okay, so I'm going to pull that as tight as I can without snapping it. And I'm going to bring it back this way. Don't pull it all the way through. Just leave a little loop. And then I'm going to run my needle through that loop and then pull tight and it'll knot it down. And I'm going to do it again. Let's go right here. Let's go through there. Don't pull it tight. Run your needle through that loop and pull it tight. And then I'm just going to take the needle and go right through the arm. Pull it down. And then give that tail a little bit of a tug and snip, and the tail pops right back inside the arm and you can't see it. See, now it's not moving, but man, I wouldn't want to risk it. And I like that the hand twists too. That's pretty neat. All right, so now we can just hide this tail. And all I'm going to do, whenever you hide this tail, don't distort your single crochets up here. Just take it through the side and then run it through the arm. Just like that. Gotta make sure we can still see those single crochets. All right, so now I'm gonna snap that. And there is our arm. So now you just have to make the other one. I think that's perfect. And I love that, you know, we don't stuff it that much, so it's still bendable and posable. Well, not posable, but you know what I mean. Still movable. All right. So, pause your video. Go ahead and make your second arm. And come back here, and we are going to get started on our leg. Or legs, I should say. More than one leg. Alrighty, so to get started on our leg, we're going to get our yarn back and get our hook. And we are going to start with, turn my page here. And we don't need a long tail. We can just use a regular length to weave it in. Get a slip knot on your hook, and this time we're going to chain 25. So I'm going to go ahead and pause my video and get that chain done so you guys don't have to watch me chain. Alrighty, I've got my 25 chains done. Actually, I'm going to bring you guys back in. I should have done that earlier. Alright, so we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the arm. Hold our chain, run your hand down, and then rotate your chain so your tail or your slip knot in your first chain are pointing right to your hook. So I'm going to slip past that to my other hand, get my yarn in my fingers, and I'm going to go right through that top loop right there and slip stitch, chain one, and go right back in there with a single crochet. Stop and mark that. And then single crochet into each of the chains around. So this part is exactly the same thing we did with the leg, or with the arm. Single crochet into each chain. Making sure that your chain doesn't twist. Oops, or make sure you catch all the strands. There we go. All right, I'm gonna, excuse me, I ate a salad for lunch and I keep like having indigestion. I am gonna go ahead and pause my video and finish single crocheting into these chains. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I made it around, and once again, that last, what looks like is the chain is not a chain. That's the slip stitch. then there's the chain 1, and there's our first single crochet. So if you're in doubt, just stop for a second and count, okay? All right, so I'm going to tighten down that slip knot. All right, so that's the end of round 1. So round 2, do the exact same thing we did for the arm. Single crochet into the very first single. And remember, we mark it to keep track that this is round 2. And we single crochet into each single around. All right, so we're going to repeat this, single crochet into each single crochet all the way around. All the way around. That's the end of round 2. Start round 3, remove the stitch marker, single into the first single, put your stitch marker back, single crochet all the way around. Okay, so we are going to repeat that for 21 more rounds. So when you're done, you should have round 1, 2, and then 22 total rounds, okay? All right, so I am going to stop my camera here and let you guys get your 22 total rounds done. And I will be right back when I get mine done, all right? Okay, I will be right back. All right, I am back, and I just finished my 22nd round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and there's 22. So what we're going to do is slip stitch to the very first single crochet of the round, chain 1, pull up a loop, cut, and there you go. You can see I already had my yarn cut. Okay, so that is the leg. So now what we're going to do is start the shoe part of the leg. Now I did the one we're going to do together is brown. Oh, excuse me. But the first one I did was in black, and it's very easy to do if you get a really bright, like a headlamp. And if you guys don't know what a headlamp is it's just a flashlight that's on a band that you can put around your head. But and it's really bright. Then I don't have a problem working with black. But if you guys don't want black, it's not a big deal. I completely understand. Not everybody can work with it. So today I have got this brown. It's just Red Heart Super Saver Coffee. And we are going to start into the single crochet next to the one we fastened off into. So not into this one, right next to it, to the left of it, okay? So I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. Make sure you leave enough tail to weave in. And I'm going to go not into this one, but into the next one. The very next one to the left. Go in there with a slip stitch, chain 1. I'm going to pull my tail and go right back in there with a single crochet. Okay, now we are going to single crochet. Trying to find where I am on my pattern. All right, we are going to single crochet into the next 10 singles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we should have 11 single crochet right there. All right, so now we are going to single crochet increase into the next 2 single crochet. So single crochet increase is just simply 2 single crochets into the next single. All right, single crochet increase into the next, which is just 2 single crochet. And now we're going to single crochet into the last 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I want these tails to the outside of my leg. All right, and there's 11. So now if you look, we actually have one single crochet left. That's the one we slip stitch to when we finished round 22. But we're not going to work into it. So we've just finished round 23. We're going to move on to round 24. And what we're going to do is just go right into that first brown single crochet. So we're going to skip that slip stitch and the chain one and the single crochet we slip stitched into. We're just going to completely skip it and jump right to that first single crochet. So right in there, maybe a little hard to see, we're going to single crochet right there. So that's the first single of round 24. So I'm going to mark that. It's a lot darker on my camera than it is in person. But anyway, all right. So to move on to round 24, we are going to single crochet into the next 10 single crochets. So we already have one. So now we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we should have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I miscounted. All right. So the very next single crochet, or the next set of stitches, is actually that increase. So that's right. So now I should have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, good deal. Okay, so now we are going to single crochet increase into the next single crochet. So once again, that's just 2 single into the next single crochet. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we are going to single crochet increase into the next single. And now we're going to single crochet into the last 9. So I'm just going to make sure we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So just single crochet back to our stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. So that was round 24. So now we're going to move on to 25. We're going to single crochet into the very first single. Mark that to mark our first single. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we should have 11 single crochet right there. Uh-oh, about dropped my notepad. Okay, so now we are going to single crochet increase into the next. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, single crochet, increase into the next. And now we should have 9 singles left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, single crochet into the last 9 single. And that will be the end of round 25. Eight and 9. Okay, so that was round 25. So we're going to go on to round 26. I'm going to get a drink. All right, so round 27, or 26, we're going to single crochet right into that very first single crochet. Stop and mark that. All right, now single crochet into the next 10 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we are going to single crochet, increase into the next. 1, 2, and now we're going to single crochet into the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Single crochet, increase into the next. 1 and 2. Get in there. And now we're going to single crochet into the last 9. 1, 2, 3. Give me some slack. 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh, don't go in there. 7, 8, and 9. All right, so now we're going to go on to round 27. We're almost done. We are going to single crochet into the very first single. Mark that. Single crochet into the next 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Increase into single crochet, increase into the next. Single crochet into the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Increase into the next. Single crochet, increase, that is. Single into the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Increase into the next. And now we're going to single crochet into the last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good deal. So that was the end of round 27. So now, round 28, all we're going to do is single crochet into each single all the way around. So I am going to let you guys work that off camera. Just single into your first, just like we have been. And mark it. And single crochet into each single. So I will come back once I get back to where we started, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I single crocheted into each single all the way around, and that is the end of round 28. So round 29, we are going to work back loop, single crochet into each single all the way around. So the back loop, man, I wish you guys to see this in real life is not the same as it is on camera. It's so much darker on camera. But all I'm going to do is just go right into the back loop only and work a single. Stop and mark it. And then back loop single into each single all the way around. So what this is doing is giving us the turn to have a flat bottom on our shoe. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys, not like you can see me anyway, I'm gonna let you guys finish working a back loop into each of the single crochets all the way around, and we're almost done. All right, I will finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've made it around. I have one more to go into, so I'm back loop into that. All right, so now we're going to start decreasing and we're going to close the bottom of our shoe. So for round 30, no more back loops. We don't have to do that anymore. We are going to work a decrease over the first 2 single crochet. So your single crochet decrease, or just for the purpose of this pattern, we're just going to call it a decrease. You go into the first single, pull up a loop, go into the next single, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and that is a decrease. So then we're going to single into the next, decrease over the next 2, single, decrease, single, decrease. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around. Single crochet into the next, decrease over the next 2. Single into the next, decrease over the next 2. All right, so go ahead and repeat that, and I will meet you when we get back to the beginning. Okay, so I made that all the way around, and I actually have 1 single crochet left, but we're just gonna continue working around as if we're not marking rows anymore, okay? But I still am gonna mark, so I'm just gonna remove that stitch marker. It'll make sense in just a minute. So I worked a single, so now I'm gonna go ahead and work a decrease. And I'm gonna go mark that one as my first stitch, okay? If you came out to where you had a decrease and that was the end of your round, that's perfectly fine, or a single, that's perfectly fine. We don't have a certain stitch count right now. It doesn't matter anymore, okay? All right, so we're going to repeat that again, and since we already worked our decrease, I'm going to single into the next and decrease over the next 2. Single, decrease. And I am trying to work these as tightly as I can. So if you would prefer to go down a hook, not a half hook size, but an actual hook size, go ahead. Well, you may want to go to I don't know how easy it would be to work with a 3mm and a 4-weight yarn. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and work my singles and my decreases all the way around till I get back to my stitch marker, which I'm already almost there. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay with you guys. Decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease. So I ended with an even decrease. I don't have any stitches left. You may not come out like that. It doesn't matter. Not a big deal at all. All right, so I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and I'm not going to need it anymore, because what we are going to do now is decrease into each stitch around until we can no longer work anymore. So to do that, I'm going to pull you out so you can see exactly what I'm doing when I hold it like this. So I'm just going to start decreasing into each stitch that I can get into, and it's going to close fast. See, you just got a few left already. Decrease. Decrease. So it's getting so small I can't get my hands in there anymore. There, you can see it. See the little hole? I can still work them though. We gotta get it smaller. Decrease. I'm going to go one more. Well, let me see. Yep, I'm gonna call it there. I am not gonna try to work anymore. I'm gonna let you guys see what I've got. See the hole that's right there? I'm gonna call that good. And I am going to slip stitch into the next stitch the best you can. Chain one and pull up a longer tail, and we'll weave that in a minute. And we are done with our leg. Now all we do is stuff. So it's the same concept with the leg. We don't want to overstuff or it's going to set straight out. We want it to have a nice, pretty shape. Flat bottom, not too thick, not too thin. Nice leg. If that makes any sense. All right. So I got some polyfill, and this first part we're gonna do the shoe. So we want to make sure we get it all the way down there. So I just use the bottom of my crochet hook. Get it in there. I need a little bit more in there. That's probably way too much. So what I do is I get that all the way down there in the shoe, and I make sure the shoe is full and it has a shape. I think that, I don't know, I think that needs just a tad bit more. Okay, and then I set my leg down like this, and then I kind of roll it around to get that fiber, the polyfill moved around so the bottom of my shoe is flat. I mean, obviously it's not perfectly flat, but I mean, it's flat-ish. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just continue up the leg. Now remember, do not completely stuff all the way to the top because we don't want it to be too filled. See how it looks lumpy? I don't want that. So I'm going to roll it. So once you get your leg the way you like it, which I'm pretty happy with that. Once you get your first one done, it's the second one is so much easier because you can use the second one as a guide to how you want your. You can use the first one as a guide to how you want your second leg. All right. So once you are happy with the way your leg looks, go ahead and get your yarn. Get a slip knot on your hook. Leave enough tail so you have plenty to weave in. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold your leg facing you with the shoe the whole front of the shoe facing you. Just like that. And then pinch the top shut like that. And we're going to attach on the far right side through the remaining loops of the very first chain, the beginning chain that we did, okay? Attach with a slip stitch, chain one, go right back into the same remaining loops that you attached into and work a single. And we're just going to work a single crochet straight across those remaining loops from the beginning chain. Now, for your first one, you want to try to have 13, roughly 13 single crochet. If you don't have 13, let's say you have 14 or you have 12, not a big deal. Just somewhere around 13. And then let's say you only have 12, that's perfectly fine. And then the only thing is, when you make your second leg, try to make sure you have that same number, okay? So if you have 13 on your first leg, get 13 on your second leg. And I have went ahead and single crocheted right across those remaining chains. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to get one more in there for 12. And then on the edge is a little rough to see, so I'm just going to shove my hook wherever I can get it and work one more for 13. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. So there is our leg. Now I'm going to go ahead and weave in all these ends. For weaving in the ends, there's, well, besides this very first one at the bottom of the shoe, what we're going to do is get that on our needle, and I'm going to go in and out around these last few stitches we had and pull it tight just to close up that ring, or close up that hole. And then run my needle through the brown part only. Pull it tight and cut, and it pops right back inside of the shoe. But what I was going to say was, the only trick to weaving in these ends is only run the buff through the buff and the coffee through the coffee. Don't run the buff color through the coffee, or you're going to see it, and I don't like doing that. Okay, so right up through the leg. Pull it tight and snip. Go ahead and do this coffee strand. Oh, I guess there is another thing I would want to say about weaving in your ends here. The very top one, let me get to it. Get rid of some of those little fiber fill pieces. Or polyfill. Okay, so this one up here, weave that, well, you don't even need to weave it in. Just take it right, well, all three of them actually. Take them right through the side and down the leg. Just don't distort the top of the 13 or however many you have single crochets, okay? That's the only thing that I would suggest, is just don't weave it through the top of those singles. Just go right into the side and just go down your leg. Pull it tight to give it a little tug. Straighten that back out. Do the same with these two. I'm actually just going to do both of them together. Right into the side and down into the leg. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Okay. Pull and snip, straighten that back out, and there is your leg. Ta-da! Now you just have to repeat it for the other leg. Oh, I love this doll. Alright, let me get my little area cleaned up. I'm going to pull you guys out. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So once you have your arms and legs done, oh, excuse me, I'm burping my salad. All right, we are going to start with our body right here. Now, we start at the neck. When we start the same way we did with the arms and the legs, we start out with a chain, and then well, we're working it this way actually. We start out with our beginning chain, single crochet into each of those chains, work so many rows, and then we stop, and then we single crochet around the row just like we have been, and then we single crochet through the singles at the end of our arm and into our next row of our work. If that makes sense. I'll show you. But okay, so go ahead and get your other leg done. And get your arms done. I'll be right back. Okay, so to get started with our body, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook. But make sure you give yourself at least a 1.5 foot. If that's too much, it's perfect. It's fine. Just leave yourself about 1.5 foot of tail, because that is what we're going to use to sew our body to the head, okay? All right, so to get started, we are going to start with a chain. That's a really tight slip. We're going to start with a chain of 30. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not going to make you guys watch me chain 30. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so I got my chain of 30 done, and I'm going to do the same thing that we've done for the leg and the arm. I'm going to hold my work, run my fingers down my chain, and then rotate my hand a little, and bring that first chain and that slip knot right and point it towards my hook. Switch it off to my other hand, get my yarn in my fingers, and I'm going to come right down and slip stitch into that chain. Chain 1 and single crochet right back into that chain. Pull that slip knot tight and use my stitch marker to mark the first single. All right, now we're just going to single crochet into each chain. Oh, come on now. Single crochet into each chain all around, just like we have. So I will go ahead and get this done, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have single crocheted all the way around, and again, make sure that very last one, even though it looks like a chain, it's not. That's your slip stitch. There's your chain 1, and there's your first single crochet, okay? All right, so now we're going to go on to round 2, and round 2 we are just going to jump straight to that first single crochet and single, mark it, and single crochet into each single around. All right, so I am going to get my round 2 done, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have single crocheted into each of my singles all the way around for round 2. We're going to go on to round 3. So into our very first single crochet, we are going to work a increase. So that, again, that's 2 singles into 1 and 2. I'm going to stop and mark that first single so I don't lose track. So that's the beginning of round 3. So we single crochet increase, and now we single into the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. Single crochet increase into the next. And single into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet increase into the next. And that's what we're going to repeat around. Increase, single crochet into 3. Increase, single crochet into 3. Increase, single crochet into 3, all the way around, and I will meet you when we get back to our beginning, okay? Okay, so I worked that around, and I ended with an increase into my last single crochet. Now this is important. We need 38 single crochets, okay? So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay. So if you don't have 38, do a little finagling until you get 38 single crochet, okay? Here is the fun part. We are going to single crochet our arms in. All right. So we are going to start with single crocheting into the first 6 single crochet. So 1, mark it, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now, so I have 9 single crochet across the top of mine. So what I need is to single crochet the 9 single crochet into the 9 single crochet on here. If you have 8, then go into 8. If you have 10, then go into 10, all right? But here's the important part. We need this. Let me pull you guys back. We need it to lay right. So we can't just put it on like this and single crochet across, or it leaves a ridge right there. So what we're going to do is hold our piece with our chain, our beginning chain 30 facing up, because this is where her head's going to be. Let me just pop this on there. Okay, her head's going to be like that. So what we want to do is hold our arm up just like this, and then we're going to hold it like this and single crochet around like that. And then when we're done, we can let it go and our arm will fall like this. So this is especially important if you've glued your hand down. So if you want your hand to, well, if you've already glued it, you can't do that. Never mind. Sorry, I don't, never mind. So what you want is your hand to be down, and we are going to turn. I'm going to go ahead and just take her head off so you don't get confused. We're going to hold our piece just like this and take our arm and hold it like this against our body, because remember, our head's here, so we want it just like this with the hand facing away from where our head would be. Okay, so after we single crochet that, we're going to turn it over and her arm's going to lay just like it's supposed to, just like that. Let me get my tails out of the way. So we want to hold our work just like we are. This is where the head's going to be, and we want our hand to be up and out just like that. Now if you did like I did and you didn't glue yours, it's no big deal. You can just turn your hand, right? And it'll go however. But if you glued yours, this is really important. We want it to be up like this, up and out. All right. Okay, so I think we got that. Let me get you guys brought back in. So I'm going to bring my arm in, and I'm going to set it along the next 9 singles. Or if you've got 8 or 10, however many, we're going to single crochet through the arm first, and then through the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry for the squeak. 6, 7, 8, through that one and through the next is 9. So if I pull that up, and now I hold it with the head on and the head facing me, and I let go of that arm, see how her arm falls? The thumb is to the front, and the palm is to where the belly is going to be. Okay? And if it takes you a couple of times to get it right, don't worry about it. Just pull it out and start 04 over. Okay, so we have, and you know what? It may even help if you just put the head in the hole for a minute and then work, use that as your basis of where the arm is going to go, or how the arm is going to go, the direction of the hand and stuff. All right, so now we are going to single crochet into the next 9. Now, if you had 10 on your hand, you're going to single crochet into the next 8. If you had 8 on your 8 single crochet across your arm, then you're going to single crochet into the next 10. All right, but since I had 9, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 9 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, now I'm going to get my other arm, and now I'm going to hold it to my work. And remember, I want the hand up and both thumbs facing out. And now I'm just going to single crochet through the arm and my next 9 single crochet, and however many you have on your arm, whether it's 9 or 8 or 10. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's my last one is 9. All right, so now I'm going to single crochet into the last 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've only got 5. I think I may have missed one. That's right, just single crochet into the last, until your remaining stitches. 1. And now I should still have, I think I may have messed up on my pattern when I was writing it because I have a question mark next to my stitch count. We still should have 38 single crochet. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So I did mess up when I wrote my pattern. Should be into the last 5, and we still should have 38. Okay. Okay, so, but like I said, if you guys had 10 on your arm right here, then you should have only crocheted into 8. And if you had, you get the point. If you have one more, you're going to have one less here. If you had one less, you're going to have one more here. All right, so there is our arms sewn to our body. All right, so for round 5, we are going to just work 1 single crochet into each single all the way around. Still have 38 single crochets, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my single crochets done, and I will be right back. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I single crocheted all the way around, and for round 6, we're going to repeat round 3. We're going to increase into the very first single crochet. One and 2. Mark that very first single, and then single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry if you can hear my hands. let's see this, increase, 1, 2, 3, increase into the next. And that's what we're going to repeat around, okay? Single crochet 3, increase into the next. Single crochet 3, increase into the next. So you guys go ahead and repeat that around, and I will meet you when we get back to the beginning, okay? Okay, so I have repeated that around, and I have an increase, 1, 2, 3, and I have 2 single crochet left. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and increase again into the third to last, increase here into my second to, oops, into my second to last, and then I'm going to increase into my last. And the reason we are doing that is because we need 50 single crochet, and I was off by 2, so I think this is going to give us 50 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Like, if you guys look at my chicken scratch, by the time I design this doll and I work on other tutorials and then I come back to it, I'm confused in what I wrote, and it may be wrong, and I don't, yeah, so there you go. That's how we're going to work round 6. Just work your increase 3 single crochet, increase 3 single crochet to the last 3 singles, increase into the last 3 singles so you can get 50 single crochet. Okay. It's all good. As long as you have 50 single crochet, that's what we need. All right. Okay, so here comes a big homework part that I'm going to have to stop and probably take me a couple days to get time to get this done. But what we're going to do now is work rounds 7 to 30. All we're going to do is single crochet around, okay? So rows 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right? All you're going to do is single crochet all the way around. Mark your first, single crochet all the way around. Mark your first, single crochet all the way around. All right? And that is going to give us this nice body. Okay? So I am going to stop my camera, and with the power of my camera magic, I will come back and have my 30th row finished. So, and ta-da! I am done with my 30th round. Pretty neat, huh? Anyway, so now that we've finished our 30th round, I'm just going to stop and just kind of give everything a tug just to get those stitches loosened up. No, I don't want to say loosened up, at least not so stiff. How's that? So this is what your piece should be looking like. So now I am going to go ahead and just use that stitch marker. Let go. I'm going to use a stitch marker so I don't lose that stitch. Okay, I'm just going to mark it just like that. And what we're going to do now is sew on our head. So I'm going to get a needle. I'm going to thread the long tail from the very beginning. I'm going to thread that onto my needle. I'm going to go ahead and put the head inside, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave this starting from the back. I'll show you without the head. I'm going to weave it in and out. See where the bottom of the single crochets are and the remaining loops from the chains? I'm just going to weave in and out of there. If I If I don't exactly go where I need to, it's perfectly fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Just in and out. All right, now I'm going to put her head in. And what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around and then pull it as tight as we can, but we want to keep it in the ridge of the, mine's a little dirty. I can't get all that off. But anyway, keep it in the ridge of that neck right there, okay? Get on there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have my hand inside, and then I have it inside of her head. And I'm just going to keep weaving in and out, in and out. Now, it's been a few days since I worked on this. And I did dishes before I started filming. And then I put lotion on my hands, so it's not really working the greatest with holding this needle. Alright. In, out, in, and out. Okay, so this is kind of, actually, I'm just going to turn her head so I don't have to see it. Because after we get this sewn tight, her head will turn. So if you just need to rotate her head a little bit, that's fine. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. All right, so I made it all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and just pull tight and make sure that the ridge stays inside of the chains, I should say, stays in the ridge of the head, okay? Now I'm just pulling it tight, and I'm just going to go around again. In and out. Like, now this round, I'm not going to be able to do it as in and out every stitch. I'm gonna miss stitches, and the only reason being is because you kind of can't see it anymore unless you pull it back out like I just did. All right, tighten that down, and I'm just gonna keep going around. Turn her head. I know that I wasn't very nice with her. Where am I at? And it's getting tight. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull it the opposite way, and you can see how tight it gets around in that ridge. And I am going to, actually, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around, so I'm to the back again, which the back you can see is where the beginning slip knot is. I'm going to go ahead and work that around so the tail isn't right in the front. And then okay, just about to the back. All right, ow, poke myself. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let this tail stay. And the reason being is because, ooh, she lost some hair. And the heads that I've gotten, their hair's not falling out, it's just they've been in that package. So some hair might come out, but that's all right. I just have a little bit right there. We're gonna leave that tail because we are going to finish securing it after we are done assembling her. So her head is on right now, and we want to make sure it's facing to the front. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now we've got our head attached, so we are going to stuff her body. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that there. So I'm just gonna start stuffing her body. Right now what I'm doing is making sure a bunch of stuffing gets in like that head and, not in the head, but at the head and neck area. Now our goal is when we stuff her, we want it to be around flat like that here at the bottom, because that's where we're going to sew on the legs. So it's not going to take as much stuffing as you'd think. I just want to make sure her like up by her head and neck area is really stuffed, so it's not flopping around. Her head, not her eyes. Okay, so I'm going to overstuff just a tad bit so that after I sew her legs, no I'm not. I'm just going to leave it just like this. I'm going to leave it just like this. I'm going to let you guys see how stuffed she is, and I'm just pinching it shut right here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fasten off right here. Should have just done this at the beginning instead of putting that stitch marker in there. Anyway, I'm going to slip stitch in there, chain one, pull up a loop, get rid of your cat hair, and cut. I did not get rid of the cat hair. All right, and cut. And I'm just going to put that tail to the inside. We're not going to see it. Okay, so now we are going to sew the legs on. Just like this. Get that tail out of the way. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just weave that tail in. It's going to bug me. I'm going to weave that tail in off camera and I'll be right back. All right, so I am back and I have that end weaved in. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get a strand of our body color yarn. Let's do a foot or a foot and a half. Get you a 1.5 foot strand and weave that onto your needle. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take our body and we're going to how do I want to word this? I want to take it with her head up, make sure her arms are nice and straight and even where you want them, and then just kind of flatten it a little bit. All we're doing is trying to get a flattened shape right here. So when we fold it shut, her legs are going to be sewn in like this, and we want the legs to the front of the foot to be straight with the front of the body. That's all we're doing right now, okay? So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a flatten so it's nice and even, just like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to flatten it. And if you notice, see the 2 single crochet right on the edge, this one, and then there's one right there. So I have 2 single crochet on there, and there's not one in between there. That's one next to the other. All right, so what we're going to do is go through one side of the body, and I'm going to grab my leg, and I should have 13. If you have more or less, it's not a huge deal. It's perfectly fine. And I'm going to go make sure I have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's how many I had. So I know that is my number 1. So I'm going to go through the back of the body, through the leg, making sure the foot is forward, just like the head is forward. Okay, so I pulled that out. Go back through the first single, and then I'm going to go through this is the hard part right here. Go through the single crochet that I had on my needle earlier. The 2 that are consecutive right next to each other. Okay, so I'm through the back, through the leg, through the front. And I'll pull that through, leave enough tail to sew So I'm gonna leave about 6, 7 inches. All right, and now I'm gonna go through the top, the very next single crochet, the very next single crochet of the leg. This is so hard to do on camera. Very next on the top, through the leg. Let me move you guys just a little bit. I think that's gonna help. So I went through the very next single crochet on the front, the next single crochet on the leg. I'm going to tighten everything up, and the very next single crochet on the back, right there, and pull it. Next single crochet on the back, next single crochet on the leg, next single crochet on the front. Next single crochet on the front, which I can't see. Next single crochet on the leg. And the next single crochet on the back. Okay. Next on the back, next through the leg, next through the front. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys finish that. It's a little hard for me to do because I can't see while I'm trying to do it on camera. So I'm gonna get this leg done and then I'm gonna stop, okay? So I'm gonna go in and out through the front leg, back, back leg, front, back and forth, and I'll be right back. All right, so I made it across, and I've got a little lump right here on this side and then one on the outside. We're gonna take care of that out here. But right now what I'm going to do is just go into the next single crochet, and then I'm going to go right into that slip stitch right there. There's kind of a bump sticking out. And then I'm going to go into the next single crochet. Okay, so that is that leg fully sewn on. Now see how I got that lump out there? We are going to take care of that. I'm just going to take my tail here. If you don't have that, then it's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. But that is, I think where I attached maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But I'm going to take my needle right through it. Let's see. I'll go through it again and then go to the inside of my body. My hands are greasy from my lotion. There, and then pull that in. So that pulls that in a little bit right there. But we will take care of that more later. I'm gonna let it hang out. Okay, so now we are going to get our other leg, and we're gonna repeat the same thing from the outside in. And the reason being is we're going from the outside in is because if there are any single crochets that we are off, we can hide them in the middle, in the crotch area. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Start from the outside to the inside. So you may need to stretch this, stretch it good, and you don't have to go stitch for stitch. You can skip stitches if you need to, depending how many single crochet you have on your leg. You can work a couple into one single crochet if you need to. It's not going to be noticeable. Nobody's going to see it. But I am just going to repeat the same thing I did. I'm just going to go ahead and stay with you guys too. Okay, so I'm going to start from the outside, just like this. And I'm going to go into that side bump right there. So, no, I'm not like that. I'm going to go into the back first. Catch that side bump right there. And then... I'm not even on camera. Jesus. Sorry. And then go through that part. All right, now I'm going to just work back and forth through this one and this one and the back. This one, this one, this one, here, here, and here. Here, through that, through this one, this one, okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute because now is going to be the perfect time. If you want to add more polyfill to your doll, go ahead because we're getting ready to sew it up. And I am actually going to add a little bit more. And then I'm going to use the bottom of my crochet hook to move it around where I want it to go. I still want more in that neck area. That's bugging me. Alright, I like the look of that. I'm going to add just a tad bit more towards the bottom here. Get into these corners. Okay, I think that's nice. I am happy with this. All right, now I will finish sewing her up. Where am I at? Here. Okay. I'm gonna go here into the back. Uh-oh. I got a hold of some stitches I didn't mean to. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I messed it up. Here, here, and here. See where I caught those stitches? I didn't mean to do that. Alright. So now that I'm getting closer to the end, dang it, I can tell that I am going to be off a few stitches. Which we all are. Nobody's going to get this perfect. So I'm going to work 2 into 1. Right here. And that is going to be my last one, but I'm actually going to make sure this is secure and go in and out of that tip. I just poke myself just like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just go right straight across. We got a little bit of a hole. Well, no, I actually had another single crochet right there. I didn't even see. Oops. That's all right. Nobody's going to see that. Okay, so we completely sewed this up. So I came to both ends ending in the same spot. So now I'm going to take these 2 tails, tie them in a knot, a double knot. Just like that. Trim them down. I'll load them both on my needle. And just run them straight into the body. Pull and snip, and they pop right back inside. And now I'm going to straighten up this side of the leg and then adjust some of this polyfill. So you see how I got that ridge right there on the side of the leg. I'm going to get that taken care of. I'm just going to go right through that, through the body. Do that again. And then I'm not going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to stop, bring it back, and come through that hole, or that loop, and knot it off. Take it to the inside of the body. Cut. And there is our doll. Well, oops, forgot to finish the neck. All right, so at this point is where we are going to adjust the polyfill inside. So I'm just flattening it out so it looks nice. And test your head. Is it on there secure? So like when I pull mine, see how it's not, the chain that we weaved in and out of is staying in the ridge of that neck? That's what we want. It isn't coming out of there. So I am going to go ahead and knot this off. So I'm just gonna go bring you guys in for this. Oh yeah, that was shaky. All right, so I'm gonna go in close to where I came out. Don't pull it all the way through, leave a loop. I'm gonna run my needle through that loop and pull it as tight as I can to create a little knot. And then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go right inside of the body and come out somewhere, doesn't matter where. Make sure I don't have her hair in that. I do. Ah, I got it all over the place. Okay. And now pull that tail, cut, and the tail pops, oh, excuse me, back inside the body. So there is our doll. Let me get you guys pulled out. Ta-da! So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Let me turn her head straight. I'm going to go ahead and end this here. So this is going to be the end of part 1. And this is our doll. So in part 2, we're going to make her bonnet, her panties, her dress, and I'm going to make a little bow for her hair in case you don't want the bonnet. Basically, let me show you. I got my other one right here. We're going to make her dress, her bonnet. Oh, I didn't put her panties on. Here's my other doll. You can see that leg seam isn't perfect, but she's still adorable. All right. So, subscribe if you guys haven't, so you never miss what's next from me. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you guys are making these. I want to know what you named them. Mine's Bonnie. And, let's see. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. Comment their name if you're making it. And in the description box are links to my Instagram and my Facebook. I would love to see you guys make these. Love, love, love it. My Instagram is down there, my Facebook group, my Twitter, my email. I would love to see you guys make these and what you named them. All right, so this is the end of part 1. Part 2, we are going to make her dress and everything. So, and don't look at this. That's my mess up. Hide that sleeve. I mess up right there, but you guys won't know. All right, that's it for me, guys. Part 2 will be out later today. If you're watching this as soon as it's out, it'll be out later today. All right, and that's it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.